I will be discussing SuperPave. My name is Joe Pyatt. So what is SuperPave? SuperPave stands for Superior Performing Asphalt Pavements. In 1987, a group of highway and pavement engineers decided that they wanted to come up with a product to be able to withstand the extreme temperatures and heavy traffic loads. This group formed the Strategic Highway Research Program, and they were in development for 5 years. The Florida Highway Administration adopted their research in 1992. While still in development by the SHRP, the group of engineers had 3 objectives in mind. That of which was to develop specifications and tests for materials to be able to outperform other pavements, to study the performance and pavements of existing materials and compare them, and to be able to work with highway agencies and industries to be able to develop specifications to put to use. When the FHWA adopted the research, they assumed full responsibility for further development and validation of specifications and tests, as well as implementation of a national program. Annual expenditures of highway pavements topped $10 billion, as well as accounted for 90% of all highway pavements here in the United States. To further emphasize on the introduction is the following video, which is not playing.
What's your project number?
It's State Road 90 Southway 8th Street.
Yeah.
For nearly a century, highway agencies and paving contractors have been constructing roads of hot mix asphalt, and with good reason. Asphalt pavements are smooth riding and long-lasting. Today, there's a new set of tools and techniques called the SuperPave system that allows us to design even more durable asphalt pavements. SuperPave, which stands for Superior Performing Asphalt Pavements, is the mixed design system for the next century. The SuperPave system has 2 key components: performance-based asphalt binder specification and volumetric mix design and analysis. It also uses an improved method of laboratory compaction that reflects field conditions. Pavements take quite a beating. Not only are they subject to ever-increasing traffic loads and volumes, but they also must serve in a wide range of conditions. The SuperPave system incorporates a new binder specification that classifies asphalt binders into performance grades based on a range of climates and pavement temperatures. The specification sets certain physical properties that all binders must meet, but the temperature at which those properties must be attained is determined by the specific climatic conditions at the paving location.
As the video mentioned, the asphalt binders are classified as PG, which stands for performance grade, which is followed by 2 numbers which represent a high and low temperature. For example, PG 64 minus 22 means that the pavement's performance is expected to be able to resist ruts and cracking to a high temperature of 64 degrees Celsius and a low temperature of minus 22 degrees. When selecting a SuperPave binder, we must first determine the average 7-day maximum pavement temperature as well as the minimum pavement temperature. To make this process easier, we have more than 6,000 weather stations in the SuperPave system. For some asphalt cements and extreme climatic conditions, the asphalt may need modifications, but whether or not the modifications take place, the PG binder will have the required properties to perform as expected. And that is what is meant by performance-based specification. The majority of all asphalt refiners and the suppliers have already converted to PG rated binders. As shown on the screen is a refiner here in Jacksonville, Florida, who have adopted the SuperPave system. At these refiners, the engineers try to improve the properties of the asphalt mix and the performance of the pavement. by using the superpave system, which utilizes the aggregate gradation process, which is used in turn to determine the optimum aggregate structure, called gradation. The gradations are defined using the Federal Highways Administration 0.45 power chart, as you can see on screen. To further emphasize and bring clarity to this point is the following video. It's just not working again.
Are defined using the Federal Highway Administration 0.45 power chart. The chart can be used to show total particle size distribution for an aggregate blend. The chart is also useful for understanding how aggregate particles fit together. The maximum density line is plotted from the origin through the maximum aggregate size. The superpave system adds two features to the 0.45 power chart, namely control points and a restricted zone. The control points serve as boundaries for the outer ranges of key sieves. Three sets of control points are plotted, one for the nominal maximum sieve, one for an intermediate sieve, and one for the smallest sieve. Aggregate gradations must stay within the control points. The so-called restricted zone is actually a warning zone, providing a guideline for mix designers. Gradations falling in the restricted zone may have too much rounded natural sand. Mixes constructed using such gradations often experience compaction problems during construction and can be prone to rutting. For best results, mix designers should choose a gradation that falls between the control points and avoids the restricted zone.
So using the 0.45 power chart, mixtures can be produced and then are compacted. So the superpave system uses a new method of laboratory compaction called the superpave gyratory compactor. The superpave gyratory compactor allows for the volumetric properties of the mixtures to be calculated and the data to be analyzed in order to determine which sample produces the optimum aggregate structure. Volumetric analysis is an integral part of most mixes and is at the core of the superpave system. The following is an FDOT table representing the aggregate gradation control points, which is to be used in conjunction with the 0.45 power chart, which is to be followed by manufacturers here in Florida. Since adaptation of the superpave system here in Florida, we've all been able to, running has been decreased, pavement performance has increased, and we've been enjoying the smooth and improved roads here in Florida. Thank you.
Next would be